HTML, hypertext markup language, is the language of the web. It's the language of the web because HTML is used in building websites. Now, once you have the fundamental knowledge of how HTML works and you can write basic HTML, you can begin to build websites with that knowledge. And honestly, HTML is very easy to learn, very easy to learn. And in this crash course, we are going to be covering everything you need to know to begin to use HTML. Now, if you decide to pursue a career in web development, or you want to start a website design agency, then it is important that you have basic knowledge of HTML. Why? From time to time, you would need to refer back to your HTML. If you are a website design agency, for instance, and you are building your client website with technologies like WordPress, from time to time, you still need to fall back on your knowledge of HTML to get some things done, or to really get some things to work the way you want them to work exactly. If you want to pursue a career as a full stack developer, or you want to pick up technologies like probably PHP and any of those kinds of technology, then also you need to have HTML as one of the fundamental things that you know in order for you to excel. If you want to pursue a career as a front-end developer also, then of course you also want to know HTML to help you really get started. The same goes for fields of mobile application, although you won't really be writing HTML. But if you know HTML and you know CSS, then it really helps you to really get started faster, because what you will be interacting with in the area of mobile will kind of be similar to what you already know. So HTML is something that you really want to learn if you are considering any of these career choices. Now, HTML is easy to learn, and you don't need anything special to start to write HTML code. Now, HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, and in order for you to get started writing HTML, well, what you need is just a notepad. So on your PC, just call up a notepad file, a blank notepad file. I'm just going to clear off this. Then you need a browser where you can test your work. Those are the two things that you need in order for you to run, to start writing HTML code. So you need you need your notepad file. Then of course you need a browser where you can test what you are doing. Those are the two things. So for this tutorial, I'm going to actually use three things. I'm going to start off by using the browser. I'm going to start off by using my notepad. Then I have this folder that I have created, which is called my HTML folder. So all my files will be stored inside this folder, because in HTML, what you really want to do when you're building web pages is that you want to make sure that all your files are stored in the same folder, and that makes things easy for you. So how do you get started writing HTML code? Well, it's very simple. Now, I should tell you that the best way for you to really catch on with this course series is you should learn by doing. So make sure that you are drawing up your notepad and you are following along by actually typing and running the codes you see in this tutorial. I can assure you HTML is really simple, and before you know what is happening, you are already writing HTML. So let's go. Now, the first thing you want to do is you want to call up your notepad. And then when you call up your notepad, you want to save that notepad. So I'm just going to save my notepad file right now, and I'm just going to do a save. This is a blank document. And then I'm going to save my notepad file inside that HTML folder that I already created. Now, when you are creating websites, the first page that people see on your website, if you go to any website, the first page that you see on any website usually is called the index page. That's how that page is labeled. So let me create an index page. I'm just going to do index.html. Now, when you are naming website files, you have to use a .html or .htm. So when you give the file a name, because I want to save a notepad file right now, but I want to convert that notepad file into a web page. In order for me to convert that notepad file into a web page, I have to save that file as either a .htm or a .html. So once I give the file a name and I do a .html, I am saying in essence that, oh, please, I want to start writing a website. I want to create a web page. And that's what I want. So once you save that, if you look into that folder, you would see automatically that that website looking icon is already presented to you, and that's it. You've created your first web page. And when you see the type of the file, you will see that this is actually an HTML document. So you have actually started creating websites. It's as simple as that. Now, once you have saved your file as a .html file, it's now left for you to begin to write the instructions, the actual code to make this web page come alive. And the first thing you want to do when you want to write an HTML document, or when you want to create an HTML document, is that you want to declare that you are doing HTML. And in order for you to do that, you want to do an angle bracket. We call this let's say an angle bracket, and then you want to do an exclamation sign. Then you want to write a document type, which is the doc type. And then you just want to do HTML. Now, and then you want to put in a close. That's an angle bracket that kind of forms like a closure to what you have written. Now, once you write this, what you are saying is that, hey, this document is an HTML document. So if you want to interpret this document, please treat it as an HTML document. That's all you want to do. So once you write that, then you have declared that you are writing an HTML document. The next thing you want to do is that you want to write a pair of tags. We call these tags pairs. Pairs in the sense that you have what we call an opening tag and we have what we call a closing tag. So once you have done this declaration of your doc type, the next thing you want to do is you want to now declare proper that, hey, I'm writing HTML, and you do that by doing the same angle brackets, to open, that's your left angle bracket, then you do HTML, and then you just close that angle bracket. Now, this is called an opening tag. Once you write an opening tag, it's just like you are starting something, you have to end it. And in order to close this tag and tell the document that, hey, I've stopped writing HTML, what you want to do is that you want to do the same tag, the same thing you wrote here. You want to repeat it again, but this time around, immediately after the first or the opening angle bracket to the left angle bracket, you want to do a /. Now, this tells the document that this tag that you began here, that's the starting HTML tag, has now ended. So we have these as what we call an opening tag, and then we have these here as a closing tag. Okay, so this is a closing tag. So I'm just going to close this, and then we can now see how. So there are a couple of different kinds of tags that you can use in your HTML document. So we just written the opening HTML tag and the closing HTML tag. So let's do something fun. The next type of tag that you can have is what we call a head tag. Just like you're writing a letter, you have the heading, then you have the body of the letter. So let's do a head tag, and just like we are pronouncing, it's a head. So you do open angle bracket and close angle bracket, and you have your head tag. Now, the moment you have the head tag starting, don't forget you have to close it to say, okay, I have finished with my head tag, and that is that. Now, inside your head tag, you can have a title. So let's just indent this a little bit just to give us some kind of formatting perspective onto just as that. So inside your head tag, you can have what we call a title tag. A title tag defines the title of the web page, and you are going to see that work right now. So you do just like that. Also, title, you open your title tag, and then you put in your title in that title tag. For instance, my first web page, and then what you do is that you close out your title tag. Now, each time you write something in HTML like this, and you want to see the effect of what you have written, what you do is that you want to save that file. So I'm just going to do a save, and then you want to open up your browser and you want to call up that file in your browser. I'm just going to drag and drop this file in my browser so that we can see. So I've drawn up this file in my browser, and then please look at this. When you look on top of this site right here, you would see my first web page. That's the title tag. I think there's a little error here. So you have, okay, so instead of title here, I closed out with HTML. It should have been closing out with title. So I'm just going to do a save, and I'm going to go back to my browser, and I'm going to refresh. Now, for the purpose of ease, let me tile both my browser and my code side by side so that things are easier. So I have that. So anytime you make a change in your document, in your code, you just need to refresh to see that change come alive. So let's change my first web page to class 1. If you do class 1 and then you save class 1 and you refresh your web page right here, you would see the title of the site here change to class 1. So that's what the title tag does, and that's the head tag. Now, once you are done with your head tag, next kind of tag you probably want to be familiar with is it called the body tag. Just like we said, once you start with your body tag, you want to also end with your body tag like that. So I started body tag, I'm ending body tag. Now, inside this body tag is all the content of your website. Everything you want to write on your website goes into this body tag. For instance, if I want to write something like my first web page, and I do a save of this, you would see automatically when you refresh that now you have content on your website. I can decide to do an H1 tag. H1 means a heading tag. That's H1, and then I do the same thing, my first web page, and I close my H1 tag just like that. I save and I refresh, and you can see my first web page. Let's do H2. If I do an H2 tag, H2, I do my first web page, and then I close out my H2 tag, and then I do a save of my H2 tag. Let's see what happens again, and you can see, and then I can do H3 up until H7 like that, and go ahead and do H3 and do my first web page again, and I do H3 and I do save and I refresh, and that's it. So what we've done right now is that we have started building out our first HTML website, and that's it. You've started learning HTML. So HTML is actually very simple to learn, and all you just need to do is to learn by practicing. In the next video, I'm going to begin to show you basic things that you need to know, like we'll start working on how to structure your HTML documents, and we build things out. We build out websites just by showing you examples of HTML code that you can write behind the scene and how to make it work. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.